What's up, guys? This is Jesse 450, and happy Halloween! Today is Halloween. At least I'm hoping this is still going to be Halloween when I upload this, because I'm in a rush to make it. But anyway, I was going to do a top 10 horror games thing, but I haven't played a whole lot of horror games, so I chose the option that was more relevant to me and chose top 10 horror movies. Now, let me clarify first. These are my top 10 favorite horror movies, not necessarily scariest. Although, I mean, it sort of is scary as some of them may not quite be in order, but anyway, I've seen the scariest of the scary when it comes to horror movies. The only one that could possibly be on this list that I haven't seen would be The Ring. I have not seen The Ring. I've seen all the classics and all the modern, soon to be classics, and so, yeah, pretty much. Here's my video. Hope you enjoy. So at number 10, we have Paranormal Activity, which is just a franchise that was the second, I guess, movie to make the whole found footage thing a popular thing. The first being the Blair Witch Project. This movie was just, I don't know, just the plot is really interesting to me, and it continues to add more interest with every installment, even though it is ending now with the Ghost Dimension, which I won't be able to see until it's on DVD because of the fact that they couldn't get our theater to release it because they were being unreasonable with prices and stuff. But anyway, yeah, Paranormal Activity I've always liked it, even though it is not scary at all. Just throwing that out there, make sure you know that I don't think that. Not scared that easily. Number 9, we have The Possession. I'm not sure if you've heard of this or not, but it is a horror movie. Yeah, it's a horror movie. And it is about a little girl who essentially gets almost possessed by this box thing. It's hard to describe, but it's another paranormal movie. You expect to see a lot of paranormal movies. But it was just because, I mean, the possessed little girl thing has been done before, but this one, for some reason, just kind of stood out to me as sort of unique. It had a specific reason for being little girl. I don't know, it's just something about it just really gripped me, and I always thought it was really cool for some reason. But of course, if you're going to talk about possessed little girls, there has to be at least, this movie has to be mentioned at number 8 with The Exorcist. Now, this is the original possessed little girl movie, and a lot of people have called it the scariest movie of all time. I would not say that, because nowadays it would not be considered scary, but for its time, considering that was like the first movie to actually try to do something like this, it was pretty good. I liked the movie. My brother says not, because he's didn't exactly realize the time period of that. They didn't have anything to work off of. This is sort of the one that invented having a little girl get possessed in order to bring fear into people. And I thought that was just something that definitely made me like it a lot. Now, anyway, also just movies that have been around for a while. Well, this one hasn't been around for a while, but at number 7, we have The Grudge. This is a movie my family has had since I was a little kid, and never watched it until today. But yeah, it was pretty cool. If you don't know what it is a Japanese horror film about it's American, but it takes place in Japan. So it's like a cross between an American and Japanese film. But it's hard to describe. There's this ghost demon thing it's hard to describe. You just have to watch it to realize that I don't know how to describe it, but it was just kind of creepy just to think about and watch. It wasn't jump scary, but it was really creepy, just the things you saw. Seeing this lady that you see right in front of you right now, she kind of creeped me out. Anyway, number 6, we have Poltergeist. The original Poltergeist. I like the new one too. Most people don't, but I did. Um, Poltergeist wasn't exactly scary, but it was cool. It was something that hadn't exactly been thought of, as in ghosts and haunted houses have, but the way they portrayed it was just so intriguing and interesting. This was one of the first, uh, classic horror movies I ever watched, if not the first classic horror movie I ever watched. And it's been forever since I saw it, but just the whole TV thing, and plus the ending was pretty funny. And both the original and the remake, even though they're different endings, they both kept the thing of, having kind of comedic endings. But just thinking of classics, there's got to be one that's my favorite, and that one is definitely at number 4 or 5, Nightmare on Elm Street. Freddy Krueger is just an awesome character. It was like nothing's had ever been done even remotely close to him. He only lives in your dreams, and his body has been burned, and he has that glove with the blades on him, and the hat, and the shredded up sweater. He's always, and the movie wasn't exactly scary, but it was mainly just Freddy as a character that made me love the movie so much. His sense of humor when he goes around was always intriguing to me, and the what he does psychologically to all the people he, attacks through their nightmares, I guess would be the way to say it. But anyway, back to that paranormal stuff. At number 4, we have Insidious. Patrick Wilson stars in this pretty soon-to-be classic of the paranormal genre or subgenre of the horror genre, with also being directed by James Wan, who's probably my favorite horror director of all time. And it takes, just like some of the other installments on this list, takes the classic haunted house movie and makes it better, has something unique about it that keeps it from being just another horror movie. This one, they actually go into the ghost world to try to rescue their daughter, or depending on which movie you're talking about, but I'm just talking about the original one, even though they're all pretty good. Now, when it comes to haunted house movies, there's also another one that's really intriguing, and that one at number 3 is Sinister. Because, the whole thing with having the only way to see some of this stuff, or the way that they do see most of this stuff, being through a camera or through old film, was just really interesting to me. Just having that sort of unique flair added onto it. Plus, Mr. Boogie's pretty creepy. Just looking at him, whether it be in person or through the bloodstains on the wall that you see. It wasn't the scariest movie in the world, but it was definitely one that I liked, because also the ending of the first one was mind-boggling, and then the second one was also good, but the first one was definitely the better of the two. Mainly just because of, the whole following, and it gives me chills just to think about it. Number 2, Annabelle. Now, before you get mad at me for putting this on my list, yes, I know it is cliched, and it is not exactly the first time I've had a possessed doll attack people movie, like in Child's Play. There was just something about Annabelle, sort of the atmosphere and the way they did it, and just Annabelle itself. I really liked it, and I liked a lot of the jump scares. Um, it was, it was the first horror movie I ever saw in theaters while it was in its original release, not including like summer $1 movie releases and stuff. It was the first one I actually bought a ticket to see while it was in its worldwide release. So yeah, now on to number 1, but first. Alright, now before I get to number one, I have some honorable mentions to do, but I don't have the time to get everything edited in, so I'm just going to read them off to you here. The first one is What Lies Beneath. You may or may not have heard of it. It's just the first horror movie I ever watched, so if you don't like it, that's why. There's also the Amityville Horror. That was like essentially the one of the original haunted house movies, and so it's got my respect for being that. And then lastly, and maybe least, is Unfriended. It just came out not too long ago. It was just mainly because of not because of being scary, because it's not. It's because of the like computer screen thing, and it's being unique in the plot. That was just interested me. Anyway, on to number one, The Conjuring. Now, if you couldn't tell from having Insidious in at number, let's see, Insidious was number four, and Annabelle at number two, you had to have seen this movie coming, considering it also has Patrick Wilson and is directed by James Wan, and it is where Annabelle came from. This was the first horror movie I ever saw in a theater, being, as a $1 movie during the grand opening of a theater up slightly north of here. And it was the only movie as actually genuinely scared me. And I've seen it so many times where it doesn't do it anymore, but I still love it. It's so old school with the new school twists into it. It has edge of your seat horror, and it has jump scares, and it does it so perfectly with build up. James Wan, you are awesome. Thank you so much for watching. That being said, my name is Jesse. Now I want you to like, comment, subscribe, and have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you.